The plasma explosion threw Captain Connor Thorne across the corridor, slamming him into the metallic wall of the Celestial Voyager with enough force to crack 3 ribs. Pain erupted through his body as emergency alarms blared and red warning lights flashed throughout the ship. His vision blurred, but he could still make out the approaching shapes of his crewmates rushing to his aid. "Captain, don't move," Lieutenant Rodriguez shouted, kneeling beside him. "Engineering explosion. We've got wounded." Connor tried to push himself up, but a stabbing sensation in his side forced him back down. He tasted blood. The ship's artificial gravity fluctuated, making his stomach lurch. "Status report," he managed through gritted teeth. "Hull breach contained. Medical bay intact." "5 injured including you, sir," Rodriguez replied, pressing a compress against a wound on Connor's arm that he hadn't even noticed yet. "We're diverting to the nearest medical station. Fortunately, it's only 3 hours away." Connor's head swam with pain. "Which station?" "Zephyria Prime, sir." "Galactic Alliance Medical Hub." Connor tried to nod, but the movement sent lightning bolts of pain down his spine. "Aliens," he muttered. "Great." The next 3 hours passed in a blur of pain medication, emergency stabilization procedures, and the constant hum of the damaged engines as the Celestial Voyager limped towards Zephyria Prime. Connor drifted in and out of consciousness, catching snippets of worried conversations among his crew. When he fully regained awareness, he was being rushed on a hovering stretcher through gleaming white corridors unlike anything on his ship. The air smelled different, sterile, but with an underlying scent of something like mint and copper. The gravity felt slightly lighter than Earth standard. "Captain Thorne," a voice called. Connor turned his head slightly to see a being he recognized as a Zephyrien tall, with 4 arms and silver-blue skin that seemed to shimmer under the lights. The alien wore what appeared to be medical attire, with various instruments attached to its lower set of arms. "I am Chief Medical Officer Elix. You have suffered significant trauma. We are taking you to emergency surgery." Connor wanted to respond, but the medication was making his thoughts fuzzy. He noticed a team of various alien species rushing alongside his stretcher, all in similar medical attire, speaking rapidly in both their native languages and the galactic standard. The operating room was a dome-shaped chamber with equipment Connor had never seen before. As they transferred him to the operating table, he caught glimpses of holographic displays showing detailed scans of his body, highlighting the damage in pulsing red. 3 fractured ribs, punctured lung, laceration to the spleen, second-degree burns on right arm and shoulder, concussion, and multiple lacerations. Elix announced to the medical team. "Prepare for immediate intervention." A greenish-skinned alien with large, pupil-less eyes approached. "Human physiology specialist Dr. Enrek reporting. I will assist with the internal injuries." Connor tried to speak, but a mask was placed over his face. "Count backward from 10, Captain," Elix instructed. He made it to 7 before darkness claimed him. When Connor woke, the pain had subsided to a dull ache. He blinked against the soft blue light that filled the recovery room. His torso was wrapped in what looked like a translucent membrane that pulsed with tiny lights. His right arm was encased in a similar material. "Ah, the human awakens," a melodious voice said. Connor turned to see a slender alien with features reminiscent of a praying mantis, but with distinctly mammalian eyes. She wore the insignia of a senior physician. "Dr. Thava," she introduced herself, extending a thin, jointed arm in what Connor recognized as an attempt at a human greeting. "I am overseeing your recovery. The surgery was successful. Your internal injuries are healing well." Connor attempted to sit up but found himself gently restrained by the recovery bed itself. Please remain still, Dr. Thava said. The regenerative field is still active. Moving would disrupt the cellular alignment. My crew, Connor asked, his voice raspy, all receiving treatment. None as severely injured as yourself. The doctor manipulated a holographic display that hovered near the bed. Your species has remarkable resilience, Captain Thorne. Many would not have survived such trauma. Connor nodded slightly. When can I return to my ship, Doctor? Thava made a clicking sound that Connor interpreted as disapproval. Your vessel is undergoing repairs at our station's dock. Both you and it require time to heal properly. She gestured to his arm. We've employed advanced tissue regeneration for your burns, but I must inform you about the laceration on your right shoulder. Connor hadn't even noticed it among his more serious injuries. The plasma exposure altered the cellular structure. Our regenerative treatments cannot fully restore it. Dr. Thava's expression shifted in a way Connor couldn't quite interpret. I regret to inform you that the scar will be permanent. Our dermal reconstruction techniques are usually perfect, but the exotic radiation from your ship's plasma conduits has created unique complications. Connor actually laughed, then winced as the movement jarred his healing ribs. Add it to the collection, Doc. Dr. Thava tilted her head, clearly confused. I do not understand. This is a permanent disfigurement. Connor managed a small smile. I've got plenty already. Hazards of the job. The alien physician moved closer, her large eyes studying him with new interest. You are not disturbed by permanent damage to your exterior? Not particularly, Connor replied. Each scar has a story. This one's just the latest chapter. Dr. Thava seemed fascinated by this response. Most species we treat are deeply concerned with physical perfection. The Avarians will undergo months of painful procedures rather than bear even a minor blemish. The Trell consider scarring a sign of failure. Humans are a bit different, Connor explained. Some of us see scars as badges of honor, reminders of what we've survived. The doctor made a notation in her holographic chart. Fascinating. Would you permit me to document this cultural perspective for our xenobiology database? It may help our staff better understand human patients in the future. Sure, Connor agreed. Though I should warn you, not all humans feel the same way about scars. Some go to great lengths to remove them. Individual variation within a species is also worthy of documentation, Doctor. Thava noted seriously. Rest now, Captain. I will return to check your progress in a few hours. Over the next 3 days, Connor's body healed at what the alien medical staff described as impressive speed for a carbon-based species. The regenerative field had repaired his internal injuries, though his ribs remained tender. The burns on his arm had faded to pink, new skin, and he was finally allowed to sit up and eventually stand. During this time, he became something of a curiosity to the medical staff. Word had spread about the human who collected scars, and various specialists found reasons to visit his room and engage him in conversation. Connor didn't mind it past the time, and gave him the opportunity to learn more about the advanced medical techniques used at the station. On the 4th day, Dr. Elix returned to perform a final evaluation. Your recovery exceeds expectations, Captain, the 4-armed physician said, examining the holographic readouts. Your lung function is at 94% of your baseline, and your other internal injuries show complete healing. The bone fusion on your ribs will complete within another Earth week. Connor rotated his shoulder experimentally, feeling only a slight twinge. And this famous scar I'm keeping. Dr. Elix gestured to a mirror on the wall, which floated over to Connor. For the first time, he got a good look at the mark that had caused such fascination among the alien doctors. It was a jagged, lightning bolt-shaped line about 4 inches long that ran from his shoulder toward his collarbone. Unlike his other scars, this one had an unusual silvery blue tint, likely from the exotic radiation Dr. Thava had mentioned. As predicted, the cellular alteration is permanent, Dr. Elix confirmed. The discoloration results from trace elements of Cherenkov plasma that bonded with your dermal tissue. It is completely stable and poses no health risk, but our techniques cannot remove it without causing greater damage. Connor examined the scar with interest. It's actually kind of cool looking. Definitely has character, Doctor. Elix's 4 hands performed a complex gesture that Connor had learned indicated puzzlement. Several of our staff have expressed interest in understanding your collection of these permanent marks. Would you be willing to explain? Connor nodded and pointed to a thin white line that ran along his jawline. Bar fight on Mars colony when I was 20. Guy pulled a broken bottle. He indicated a circular scar on his left forearm. Drilling accident on Europa. Ice core sample machine malfunctioned. Then he lifted his hospital gown slightly to reveal a larger, puckered scar on his abdomen. Shrapnel from a pirate attack in the Kuiper Belt 5 years ago. Dr. Elix's eyes widened. You have experienced numerous life-threatening situations. Part of being an exploration captain, Connor said with a shrug. The frontier isn't always friendly. And you choose to preserve these marks rather than seek corrective procedures. They remind me of my limits, Connor explained. Each one taught me something important. The bar fight taught me to de-escalate conflicts. The drilling accident taught me to triple-check equipment safety protocols. The pirate attack taught me never to underestimate an opponent. Dr. Elix made notes in the holographic chart. And what will this new addition teach you? Connor touched the silvery blue lightning bolt on his shoulder. Not to ignore warning lights on plasma conduits, for starters. Dr. Elix made a sound that Connor recognized as the Zephyrien equivalent of laughter. A valuable lesson indeed. Later that day, Connor was deemed fit enough to leave the medical ward. He was given a private room in the station's visitor quarters while his ship continued undergoing repairs. His crew members, all recovered from their less severe injuries, had been assigned similar accommodations. The following morning, Connor was surprised to receive a message requesting his presence in the station's xenobiology department. Curious, he made his way through the labyrinthine corridors of Zephyria Prime, following the holographic directions that appeared at each intersection. He found Dr. Thava waiting for him in a large, circular chamber filled with holographic displays and what appeared to be medical teaching equipment. Captain Thorne, she greeted him. Thank you for coming. I hope I did not interrupt your recovery schedule. Not at all, Connor assured her. I'm going stir-crazy without something to do. Stir-crazy. Dr. Thava repeated the unfamiliar idiom, restless from being confined, Connor explained. Ah, yes. Most species experience such feelings during recovery. She gestured to a comfortable-looking chair. Please sit. I have assembled a panel of xenobiological researchers who are interested in your perspective on physiological markers and cultural significance. Connor realized he was about to become the subject of an alien medical lecture. You want me to talk about my scars to a bunch of alien doctors? Precisely, Dr. Thava confirmed. Your cultural attitude toward permanent physical alterations is quite rare among spacefaring species. It presents a valuable opportunity for cross-cultural medical understanding. Connor considered this for a moment, then shrugged. Why not? Better than staring at the walls of my room. Within minutes, the chamber filled with about 20 alien medical professionals of various species. Some Connor recognized Zephyrians like Dr. Elix, a few Andorians with their characteristic blue skin and antennae, several Talarians with their translucent exoskeletons. Others were completely unfamiliar to him. Dr. Thava began with a brief introduction. Esteemed colleagues, this is Captain Connor Thorne of the Earth vessel Celestial Voyager. He presents an unusual case study in the cultural perception of physical scarring. As you know, most advanced species consider permanent dermal damage a significant medical failure to be corrected. Captain Thorne offers an alternative perspective. Connor felt slightly awkward as all eyes turned to him, but he cleared his throat and began to speak. On Earth, attitudes toward scarring vary widely. Throughout human history, some cultures actively created scars as marks of identity, status, or achievement. Others developed increasingly sophisticated methods to minimize or eliminate them. He went on to explain how, particularly in dangerous professions like exploration, military service, or frontier colonization, scars often carried stories and lessons. He shared the origins of several of his own scars, describing the circumstances and what he had learned from each experience. The alien medical professionals listened with rapt attention, occasionally asking questions that ranged from the practical to the philosophical. One Talarian was particularly interested in whether humans used scars as mate selection criteria. A Zephyrrian researcher wanted to know if humans ever deliberately created scars for aesthetic purposes. An Andorian physician asked about the psychological impact of visible scarring in human societies. Connor answered as best he could, emphasizing the diversity of human perspectives on the subject. Some humans go to great lengths to avoid or remove scars, he explained. Others, like me, see them as part of their life story. Neither approach is universal. After nearly 2 hours of discussion, Dr. Thava concluded the session. Several of the alien doctors approached Connor afterward, expressing their thanks for his insights. As the room cleared, Dr. Thava came to stand beside him. You have given us much to consider, Captain. Your species' perspective challenges our assumptions about universal medical goals. Connor smiled. Glad to be of service, though I'm not sure I can speak for all humanity on this one. Diversity of perspective exists within all species, Dr. Thava acknowledged, but your willingness to view physical alterations as meaningful rather than purely negative is enlightening. As Connor prepared to leave, Dr. Thava added, There is one more matter I wish to discuss with you privately. Oh, Connor paused, curious. Our medical scans detected evidence of previous injuries beyond those you mentioned. Particularly, your left knee shows signs of reconstructive surgery, and there are indications of neural regeneration in your lower spine. Connor's expression grew more serious. Those aren't stories I share as readily. Some scars run deeper than others. Dr. Thava's eyes seemed to soften. I understand. Not all experiences are meant for academic discussion. No, Connor agreed quietly. Some are just between me and the void. The following day, Connor was surprised to receive visitors from his ship. Lieutenant Rodriguez and Chief Engineer Patel had come to update him on the repair progress. The Zephyrrians are miracle workers, Captain, Patel said enthusiastically. They've completely rebuilt our plasma distribution system with materials I've never seen before. It's at least 30% more efficient than our original specs. That's good news, Connor replied. Timeline. Another 3 days, Rodriguez reported. The hull repairs are nearly complete, and they're installing some kind of reinforcement lattice that should prevent similar breaches in the future. Connor nodded, pleased with the progress. Any word on the cause of the explosion? Patel's expression grew more somber. Microfracture in the plasma conduit housing, It was developing for months, probably since that asteroid field we navigated in the Deneb sector. Nothing we could have detected with our standard equipment. The Zephirian engineers showed me the failure point, Rodriguez added. They were impressed we made it this far without a catastrophic breach. Connor absently touched the silvery blue scar on his shoulder. Lucky us. After his crew members left, Connor decided to explore the public areas of the station. His strength was returning quickly, and the walking would help his recovery. The station was a marvel of alien engineering, vast open spaces with gardens that featured plants from dozens of worlds, observation decks that offered stunning views of the nearby nebula, and communal areas where species from across the galaxy gathered to socialize and exchange information. As he walked through a particularly beautiful arboretum filled with bioluminescent trees, Connor noticed a small group of Zephirian children being led on what appeared to be a field trip. Their teacher was pointing out various plants and explaining their properties. When the group spotted Connor, the children's attention immediately shifted to him. The teacher, noticing their distraction, approached Connor with a polite gesture of greeting. "You are the human captain from the medical center," she stated. "The children are studying xenobiology this cycle. Would you object to answering a few questions? Human visitors are rare at our outpost." Connor smiled. "I'd be happy to." The Zephirian children gathered around him, their large, silvery eyes filled with curiosity. Their questions were surprisingly sophisticated for what Connor guessed were the equivalent of elementary school students. "Is it true humans only have 2 arms?" one asked. "Why does your skin change color when damaged instead of releasing healing secretions?" inquired another. "Do you really sleep horizontally? Isn't that dangerous?" Connor answered each question patiently, finding their curiosity refreshing. When one of the bolder children asked about his new scar, visible at the neckline of his shirt, Connor explained its origin simply. "Our ship was damaged and I was injured in the explosion. Your doctors fixed me up, but this mark will stay with me." The children seemed fascinated by this. One of them, a little Zephirian with lighter blue skin than the others, asked, "Does it hurt?" "Not anymore," Connor assured them. "Your doctors are very good at their jobs. Tavi is training to be a medical technician," the teacher explained, indicating the child who had asked. "She shows great promise." The young Zephirian named Tavi stepped forward, her 4 hands clasped nervously. "The other doctors say you keep your marks on purpose. Is that true?" Connor nodded. "In a way. We could remove most scars with enough medical technology, but sometimes I choose not to." "Why?" Tavi asked, genuinely puzzled. Connor thought for a moment, trying to find the right words for a child. "They're like pages in a book. Each one tells part of my story. If I erase them all, I might forget important lessons I've learned." Tavi considered this seriously. "Like how medical students must memorize treatment failures to avoid repeating mistakes." "Exactly like that," Connor smiled. "Very insightful." The teacher eventually gathered the children to continue their tour, but not before Tavi shyly presented Connor with a small, crystalline object. "It's a healing token," she explained. "We make them in biology class. It doesn't really do anything, but it's supposed to represent good health." Connor accepted the gift with sincere thanks, touched by the gesture. As he continued his walk through the station, he found himself reflecting on the different perspectives he'd encountered from the medical professionals, baffled by his acceptance of scars, to the children's innocent curiosity about his alien physiology. That evening, Connor joined his recovered crew members for dinner in one of the station's communal dining areas. The food was a fascinating mix of Earth-compatible alien cuisine and dishes synthesized to approximate human favorites. The engineers say we'll be space-worthy by tomorrow evening, Rodriguez reported as they ate. They're just finalizing the navigational system upgrades. Upgrades? Connor asked, raising an eyebrow. Chief Engineer Patel nodded enthusiastically. The Zephyrians offered to enhance our long-range sensors as a courtesy. They said it was the least they could do after saving our lives. That's unusually generous, Connor noted, his natural caution surfacing. I had the same thought, Captain, Rodriguez agreed. I had our security officer review the specifications. Everything checks out. It's just significantly more advanced than what we had before. No hidden tracking or surveillance components. Connor relaxed slightly. Good. I appreciate their help, but standard protocols still apply. As they continued their meal, Connor noticed Dr. Thava entering the dining area with several other medical staff. When she spotted him, she approached their table. Captain Thorne, she greeted him. I trust you are continuing to recover well. Much better, thanks to you and your team, Connor replied, gesturing to an empty seat. Would you care to join us? Dr. Thava hesitated only briefly before accepting the invitation. Connor introduced her to his crew members, who expressed their gratitude for the medical care they had received. It is our purpose, Dr. Thava said simply. The Galactic Alliance was founded on principles of mutual aid and knowledge exchange. Speaking of exchange, Connor said, my engineers tell me you're upgrading our sensors. That's quite generous, Doctor. Thava's expression shifted in what Connor had come to recognize as the Zephyrian equivalent of a smile. It serves both our interests. With enhanced detection capabilities, you are less likely to require our emergency services in the future. Fair point, Connor laughed. As the conversation continued, Dr. Thava revealed that the Xenobiology Symposium featuring Connor's perspective on scarring had generated significant interest throughout the medical community on Zephyria Prime. Several of our researchers are preparing papers on cross-species attitudes toward physical markings, she explained. Your contribution has sparked a re-examination of our approach to cosmetic restoration versus functional healing. Connor felt slightly embarrassed by the attention. I'm not sure my personal philosophy warrants academic papers. On the contrary, Dr. Thava insisted, medical practice is shaped by cultural assumptions. Recognizing these assumptions is essential to providing appropriate care across species. Some patients may share your perspective that certain marks should be preserved for their personal significance. Later, as dinner concluded and the group prepared to disperse, Dr. Thava presented Connor with a small device. This is a portable regenerative field generator, she explained. It is calibrated to human physiology and may prove useful on your future explorations, should minor injuries occur beyond immediate medical assistance. Connor accepted the gift with genuine appreciation. Thank you. This could save lives. It is programmed with specific limitations, Doctor. Thava added with what Connor interpreted as a hint of humor. It will not interfere with any scars you might wish to add to your collection. The next day, Connor underwent a final medical evaluation before being cleared to return to his ship. The Zephyrian medical team pronounced him fully recovered, with only the distinctive silvery blue scar as evidence of his ordeal. As he prepared to leave the medical center, Dr. Elix approached with a formal document. This is your complete medical record from your time with us, the four-armed physician explained. It includes detailed scans and treatment protocols that may be valuable to human medical facilities should you require care in the future. Connor thanked him and was about to leave when Dr. Elix added, There is one more matter, Captain. Our Medical Ethics Committee has approved a request, but your consent is required. What kind of request? Connor asked, curious. We would like permission to include an image of your plasma scar in our xenobiology database. The unique interaction between Cherenkov radiation and human tissue presents a valuable reference for future cases. Connor smiled. You want to add my scar to your collection? Dr. Elix's 4 hands performed an elaborate gesture that Connor interpreted as acknowledgement of the irony. Indeed. Though our purpose is scientific rather than personal. Permission granted, Connor said. Always happy to contribute to medical science. That afternoon, Connor stood on the observation deck of Zephyria Prime, watching as the Celestial Voyager underwent its final inspection before departure. The ship looked better than new, its hull gleaming under the light of the nearby star, the newly installed sensor array prominently visible on its forward section. Impressive work, a voice said behind him. Connor turned to see Dr. Thava, who had come to bid him farewell. Your engineers are miracle workers, Connor agreed. She looks ready for another decade of exploration. As does her captain, Dr. Thava observed. Your species' resilience continues to impress our medical staff. Connor touched his shoulder where the silvery blue scar traced its lightning pattern. This will make for an interesting story when I get back to Earth. I have been meaning to ask, Dr. Thava said, her tone more personal than professional. Does your philosophy regarding physical marks extend to deliberate modifications? Many species adopt symbolic alterations to commemorate significant life events. You mean like tattoos or ritual scarification, Connor clarified. Some humans practice those traditions, but I've never felt the need. My line of work provides plenty of marks without me seeking them out. Dr. Thava made a gesture of understanding. A logical distinction. After a moment, she added, Your visit has been most educational for our medical community, Captain Thorne. It is a reminder that healing takes many forms across different cultures. I've learned a lot too, Connor replied. Your medical technology is incredible. The way you can regrow tissue and repair internal damage in days instead of weeks could revolutionize human medicine. The Galactic Alliance encourages such exchanges, Dr. Thava said. Perhaps your experiences will lead to greater cooperation between our medical communities. An hour later, Connor stood on the bridge of the Celestial Voyager as his crew completed pre-launch preparations. The ship hummed with energy, its systems running more efficiently than ever thanks to the Zephyrien upgrades. All systems green, Captain, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from her station. Zephyria Control has cleared us for departure. Acknowledged, Connor replied, settling into his command chair. The familiar sensation of being back on his ship filled him with satisfaction. He opened a communication channel to the station. Zephyria Prime, this is Celestial Voyager requesting final departure clearance. The view screen activated, showing the Zephyrien port controller. Celestial Voyager, you are cleared for departure. Safe journeys, Captain Thorne. Thank you for your hospitality and excellent care, Connor responded formally. We hope to visit again under less dramatic circumstances. As the ship disengaged from the docking clamps and maneuvered away from the station, Connor caught a glimpse of a group of medical staff watching from an observation window. Among them, he recognized Dr. Thava and Dr. Elix, along with several others who had participated in his treatment and the Xenobiology Symposium. Once they were clear of the station's immediate space, Connor gave the order to engage the main engines. The Celestial Voyager accelerated smoothly, the stars on the view screen elongating as they approached faster than light speed. Course laid in for the Arcturus system, Captain, the navigator announced. Estimated arrival in 3 days at current speed. Proceed, Connor confirmed. He turned to Rodriguez, who had taken up her position as first officer. Status report on all departments. Engineering reports all systems operating at 118% of previous efficiency. The Zephyrien upgrades are performing beyond specifications. Rodriguez read from her console. Medical bay is fully stocked with new supplies, including compatible medications for all crew members. Science team is eager to test the enhanced sensor array. Connor nodded with satisfaction. It seems our unexpected detour has some silver linings. Speaking of silver, Rodriguez said with a hint of a smile, glancing at the captain's shoulder where the edge of his unique scar was visible above his uniform collar. That's quite the souvenir, sir. Connor found himself touching the mark reflexively. One I won't forget any time soon. Have the science team analyze the sensor logs from before the accident. I want to know if there were any warning signs we missed. Already in progress, sir, Rodriguez confirmed. Chief Engineer Patel believes the new sensors would have detected the conduit failure hours before it reached critical levels. Then let's make sure we put them to good use, Connor said. I'd prefer to keep future scars to a minimum, regardless of my collection philosophy. As the Celestial Voyager accelerated to its cruising speed, leaving the Zephyria system behind, Connor found himself reflecting on the experience. What had begun as a potentially fatal accident had transformed into an opportunity for cross-species understanding and technological advancement. The silvery blue mark on his shoulder would indeed serve as a reminder not just of his own mortality, but of the value of different perspectives across the vastness of space. In his quarters that evening, Connor recorded his official captain's log, documenting the accident, the emergency medical intervention, and the repairs and upgrades provided by the Zephyrien station. As he concluded the official report, he added a personal note. The incident has reinforced my belief that exploration is as much about understanding diverse perspectives as it is about charting unknown territories. The Zephyrien medical staff's fascination with human attitudes toward scarring revealed as much about their culture as it did about ours. In the vastness of space, it is these moments of cultural exchange that often prove most valuable even when they come at personal cost. As we continue our mission of exploration, I carry with me not just a new mark on my physical form, but a deeper appreciation for the complexity of interspecies understanding. With the log complete, Connor stood and moved to the viewport in his quarters. The stars streaked by as the ship traveled faster than light, each one potentially surrounded by worlds with their own cultures, philosophies, and approaches to life's inevitable marks. Whatever awaited them in the Arcturus system, he and his crew were better prepared for it, both technically and philosophically, thanks to their unexpected encounter with the healers of Zephyria Prime.